hour number 2, and we have an awesome guest lined up for you this hour on Tampa Home Talk. Hopefully you enjoyed some of our stats and our numbers and our information from last hour for our buyers. Don't forget, it's never too early to start the process in home selling. Even if you think you want to sell next year, give us a call so that we can kind of walk you through how to start that process, especially if you've been in your home for a long time. The longer you've been there, the earlier you probably need to start. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775. You can call or text us on that number, 813-377-2775. And without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our guest for the hour. We have Mr. Dwayne Vera. He is with SideKyk. Welcome to Tampa Home Talk.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
So we're excited you're here, and we were trying to catch a little bit of the story before we went on the air, and then we just kind of run out of time like that. It's like that on the air too, so I'm sure we'll get it in. But it's interesting. So you started to share a little bit about your story and your vision on what you guys do. So talk about SideKyk. What do you do? How'd you get started? How'd the whole thing come about?
Yeah, so it's kind of, it was a few different things, as most good stories are, right? And essentially what happened is, in working in sales and working with some Fortune 500 companies with their sales staff, when you build relationships with business owners, you find out two things. One is that your product or service isn't always the one that can help them. Although you have a good relationship with them, it just may not be the best fit. The second is that whatever business they own, they started that business to do that activity, an auto garage, a flower shop. But unfortunately, in running a business, you also have to become an expert in web design, payment processing, social media marketing.
That's where a lot of small businesses have a very hard time.
Absolutely. And so it takes away from what they really wanted to do. And so...
But they're necessities, right?
But they're necessities, yeah. If you want to succeed, you have to do those things. So taking those two ideas together, what SideKyk is we take our collective expertise in these 12 or 15 different areas, and we let the business owners leverage that expertise for free so that we can help them pick the best product or service for them to run their business, so they can take less time doing that and more time working on their customers.
What's your background? How'd you get started in this? Like, what'd you do?
Yeah, so I for a little bit I did some consulting work. Thank you so much. I did some consulting work with some Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies, helped with sales teams, did individual sales myself, and it took me across a wide range of verticals, from telecommunications to payment processing, web design. And so in doing that, it was the same thing. No matter what vertical I was in, whoever's logo was on my polo or on my team's polo, that's who you are rewarded to go save the best. Yeah, but that wasn't always the case. And so all of that experience kind of led up to...
Seems like you felt a little bit of a disconnect with that, maybe.
Yeah, because you spend time building relationships with business owners.
That's the way it should be. Yeah,
you're cultivating it. You're going back. You're following up. You're making phone calls. You're asking how the children are doing, or whatever you're doing to build relationships. And then when push comes to shove, you're saying, you know what? I either have to make a choice and say that my service is the best for you, even though it may not be, or I have to say that my service isn't the best for you, and now that time could seem wasted. And so it's just easier to present a wide range of options, let them choose, but know that it's going to be what's best for them, not necessarily what's best for me.
You mentioned a minute ago the 12 areas. Mm-hmm. What do you know those 12 areas off the top of your head?
I probably should. Let me see.
I guess we can get them out. We got a little bit of time.
It's web design, social media marketing, email marketing, Wi-Fi marketing, search engine optimization, accounting, telecommunications, payment processing, small business loans. I feel like I should know.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's a lot. How many is that? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I wrote down 9. Might have been more.
Yeah. There's CRM.
I probably missed one.
Sales automation. Oh, man.
So it's all the bundled stuff that really goes into everything that a small business has to do, right? Like, Leo, you know this.
I've outsourced all of that.
I'm a business owner, yeah.
The larger you get in business, the faster you try and outsource that.
Yeah. And that's the case is you have to outsource it because you want to focus on being an engineer, being a realtor, being a flower shop and a doctor.
So how does a small business start doing that? And how do you guys make your money?
Yeah, it's a good question. So a small business really, in most cases, they start by looking at other small businesses and just replicating what they're doing, or they quickly Google search it, or they take auditions, I like to call them, where sales reps come in and do their pitch, and then they pick the best one. And so what happens is that may not, again, be the best for you. You as a realtor are different than other realtors. So your business may run differently.
Well, I'll give you a prime example. When we, I sell real estate, right? So it's not uncommon for me to not even know what the sales tax is, right? Because we don't, we know how to calculate doc stamps on a deed and intangible taxes and all that. And it's something where everything happens. The whole transaction is consummated at closing, right? So the title company distributes all the money and that sort of stuff. So we're not necessarily having to collect a payment process. So when we started Tampa Home Talk, we had to collect credit card payments to basically offset the airtime. And so, you get all these things in the mail, and then going back and looking at that, we were paying ridiculous fees from one of those credit card companies.
Yeah.
So that's a great example of something you're talking about.
Yeah. And that's exactly it. You decided to do Tampa Home Talk to help, the people in Tampa Bay area to, make their home a better place. And yet here you are having to make a decision that's affecting your bottom line. And how we make money is we make money from the service providers, but we call ourselves carrier agnostic. We've worked out deals where our commissions are pretty similar across the board. And so it doesn't really matter who we refer. We make the same rate on our back end, but for the business owner, they don't have to worry about paying us. So
you come in as a consultant, they don't even pay you as a consultant, and you get paid basically for matching different providers.
Yep, that's exactly it.
That's pretty awesome.
So it takes the pressure off the business owner. So I like to say I'm not a great salesperson, which is kind of funny being in a sales industry, but I walk into a business if I myself am going out and say, hey, I'm a salesperson, but I'm not really here to sell you anything. I'm just here to let you know that I exist. Or, one of our team may go out and say, hey, I'm here to let you know that I exist. It's really just a free service for you.
So where do you guys start? Like, how do you connect with your customers? And like, how many people are in your company?
Yeah. So small company, we outsource a lot of what we do. For instance, like in telecommunications, we have an entire customer service staff that just does telecommunications because it's a huge industry. There's a lot of moving parts, right? There's an engineer on staff who will help with your building, because again, a lot of moving parts, so in that way we have a lot of staff, but as far as employees, just two.
Okay.
And then how we get started is we do some educational things. We'll put out free education because, again, it's a service to business owners. So if you look up Wi-Fi marketing, hopefully you find us on Google, and you look at maybe a top 5 and then give us a call or schedule a face-to-face video so that way we can, just walk you through your specific needs. And then outside of that, doing media like this or maybe standing on stage, doing webinars, that sort of thing.
So how do you start? What are some of the things you share in a webinar?
Yeah, so it
probably have a PowerPoint or something that you follow, but
I have a few. It just depends on the topic. For instance, in a few weeks, I'm doing a topic specifically on local businesses and the usage of CRMs.
Okay.
And so that
for the person listening, a CRM is a contact relationship manager or client relationship manager.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I need one of those actually.
You don't have a CRM?
No, I'm having my chief engineer research one that's going to be good for his needs.
Perfect.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's an ideal use case is, hey, I need one. I didn't realize I needed one. What do I do? Well, as an engineer, your CRM, his first reaction may be to go to Salesforce. They have they have 51% of the market share. It's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. But Salesforce it's very generalized, and it needs to be 51% of the market share. But for someone like yourself, that may not be the best option or the most cost-effective option.
And it wasn't. So now we're confused and lost. Real life scenario.
Yeah. So, and that's the one we run into constantly, with someone who's a business owner. That's the real life scenario. Or payment processing, same thing.
Yeah. Do you have situations where, because we have data and information in different places. So we'll have like one CRM for our customers, another one for lead management, another one for something else. So it'll be interesting to talk about that and how that works. And maybe we can just share a couple stories from some of the people that you've helped. And that way we can get a great idea on some of the things you do. And if you've got a question, if you're a small business owner and some questions are coming up while you're listening this hour, give us a call. Our live studio call-in number is 888-404-1010. 888-404-1010. Mark Charles is back there today on the board, and we will answer your questions live on the air with Dwayne Vera of SideKyk. He is here to help business owners save money on products and services as you run your business. So 888-404-1010, and we'll be back right after this break with Dwayne. So stick around.
Good morning. Welcome back. This is Leo Kane with Barrel Engineering and Inspection. Interesting off-air conversation about my need for a CRM system being real.
Excited.
That was a real
for
thing.
You today, Leo.
I know. You brought him in just so I could find out more about what he does.
What was your biggest pain point as a business owner with the technology and the layers and the levels that you need?
Just qualifying, getting the right vendors. I mean, going through groups like BNI and PIN and just grabbing whoever's in the room burned me too many times.
Which might not be the best.
Yeah, so it's just finding these things, and like once I found one that works, it's just like I'm done with it. Like my merchant processor, probably paying more than I could be with someone else, but he's loyal, never had a problem with him, just leave it alone. But yeah, the biggest pain points for me are going to be SEO, CRM, reliable IT, bookkeeping. These are all different, like if I had to do it all over again, I'd have a different cell phone carrier. But now I'm just entrenched. So, yeah. The sooner I could outsource all of that, the better. And it's just figuring out how to outsource it.
The CRM's kind of a big one because, Salesforce can be really expensive.
Can be.
Especially for somebody looking to grow. That might not be the best option for a smaller company looking to grow. And, you have to have a CRM that can grow with you because trying to move that can be really painful.
Yeah, absolutely. And CRMs, they're now becoming commonplace. Before it was thought of as only an enterprise play. Right?
Yes.
And now your solopreneur, like a realtor or a mortgage officer, should be using one.
Or building one in Excel is how they mostly do it.
Or having business cards in their trunk. But you're right. It's you need one that can grow with you. But unless you understand how CRMs work or really what you're looking for, you just end up with kind of a glorified Excel spreadsheet that you're paying monthly for per user. So, yeah, CRMs are a big push, especially with relationships and the customer experience really being in the fore of 2020 in marketing. Many people are trying to leverage customer experience. And so when you have a contact or a customer relationship manager, it helps leverage technology to allow you to really enhance the customer experience. But again, it can be expensive if you do it wrong.
Well, I mean, the CRM too can really kind of tell you what your focus should be for the day. Like that should be a big part of it. So where do you start? You start a lot of times with businesses and you find out what their pain point is and what they need. And then I imagine as you dive into that, you figure out how you can save them some money.
Yeah. The beginning is just to really leverage a relationship, to let them know that we're there to be their sidekick. So the whole idea is that you're the hero of whatever your business is. You're the hero at engineering. You're the hero at real estate. Well, as a sidekick, let us do the dirty work, the back end work, so you can go out there and be the hero. And, once you get past that hump that we're really here to help you, then it's about just going through what you have and what your pain points are and trying to really minimize those, and then we will go wide inside your business.
So if you're thinking about somebody that say maybe they're just starting a business, what's your suggestion for someone just starting their business in terms of products and services they definitely should be spending money on? And then what should they kind of avoid right out of the gate as a brand new business?
Yeah, it's a good question. So right away I say that you should have a website. And not just a social media page, but an actual website, and you should have a CRM.
Aren't those like a needle in a haystack at this point, though? A website?
They can be, but the idea is if someone catches you in some other way, social media, business card, networking event, when they go to look you up online, which 93% of people do, you want to control the information they see. And the best way to control that is via a website, because social media is going to limit maybe what you can put out as far as media, or it's also its own needle in a haystack, or the formatting may not fit your branding. But a website, It's completely yours.
You can show what you want people to see.
Exactly. You can put right up front what you want them to see. So, a website's also like a 24-hour salesperson.
It's definitely the CRM. That was something that was such a good point that I don't want to gloss past, because I think every business, big or small, start there, because you want to start with the collection of data. That's a really big thing.
Yep.
As we move into 2020 and forward, the data and the data information is huge.
Yep.
There's like billions of dollars a year spent on companies buying data.
Yeah. CRM's a $100 billion a year industry, as is, just the CRM industry. And that's true. And so with someone starting off, let's say they're an individual contributor, they're an insurance agent, they're a real estate agent. The first thing I would say is get a website, get a CRM. Those are your first two hires. Your website's your first 24-hour salesperson, your CRM's your first 24-hour admin. And if you treat them as such, you really get your return on investment. Things that I feel like
It's a great point.
My 6-year-old business without a CRM.
I see that a lot. Like, I mean, we connect with a lot of business owners, and it's really surprising how many people do not have a CRM. And that's like, if I were to talk to a new agent going forward, like that we have a CRM, of course, we're going to plug them into, but that's uber important.
Very.
Like, how do you know who to stay in touch with? How do you keep all your notes in one place?
Yeah.
Without a billion pieces of paper around. That's
right.
how.
Or those important things. Again, it's about leveraging. It's about leveraging technology to really build relationships. So when's your anniversary? When did you move into your home? When did you graduate college? Your grandchildren were born. When is that? All of that allows you to leverage a relationship. I'm not going to remember all of that, but my CRM is. And then the things to avoid, to get back to your question, really is paid social media advertising. Now, that hits a lot of people in the heart when I say that, because that's their first go-to. Oh, I got to pay for Facebook ads. I got to pay for this.
Well, let's think about it. They're a new business. They have no customers, and they're trying to figure out how to get customers.
Yeah.
Right? So that would make sense. You go where the people are.
Yeah, you go where the people are. The thing is, though, is a lot of social media, and I'm sure you can attest to this in your long career in real estate, a lot of social media, you're still leveraging contacts you already know, right? Circle of influence, sphere of influence is what we preach in sales. And so your social media just allows you to talk to them. Once you get to the point where you have revenue coming in, sure, yeah, absolutely, spend money on ads. You typically want to outsource it so you're not spending too much. But
so what's your suggestion for a brand new business? Like, where would you start?
Yeah.
How do you tell them how to acquire a customer? Like, they have some customers, maybe not enough to keep the lights on, right?
Yeah. It depends on the type of business. So, for instance, a realtor, for you, it's a very visual. So you typically want to narrow down your social media to 2 or 3 platforms. So being visual, Facebook's usually a go-to. The second one's probably Instagram, because, again, it's very visual. You're selling homes. An engineer, maybe not so visual. So for you, it's
very visual.
Well, he does a lot of structural stuff. So,
so very visual. So it could be the same thing. Maybe someone who does, again, like an auto garage, they may also be visual. But then you have other places, restaurants, they can be visual, but for them it may be more of a Pinterest play because they're doing recipes, right? Or some places it's more B2B, so they're doing LinkedIn. It's really, you want to take your time and focus it on what you can to where your people are. And then outside of that, really, if you have business, then you should find the appropriate time in the customer journey to ask for a referral. Word of mouth. Despite all the money that's being spent, real estate's still 90+% referral, word of mouth. Same thing in most businesses.
Well, it's interesting because I network with a lot of other agents, and so many of them are paying these third-party sites, right, for leads, and it's getting very expensive to the point to where it's not cost prohibitive for them to do that anymore. And mine has, like, for years has been all, like, I'm 90% repeat, refer, past clients, and then we the other 10% is probably radio, signs, that kind of stuff.
Right, of course.
But it's a huge network over a long period of time, and it's really it's still the trust, right? Like, so even radio, when we show up, when we talk about radio, the calls that I'm getting now are people that have listened to us for 6 years, right? So we've been on the air for 6 years, and they're like, I hear your voice, I listen to you every week, and I think people can feel when you're genuine and when you're not. They can hear it in your voice. They can see it when they meet you. They can feel it in your energy.
Have people ever recognized your voice in the grocery store?
I had it, where was I? The nail shop.
The nail shop.
I was in the nail shop, and the lady said, I know you. I think I know you. I just don't know how I know you from. And I'm like looking at her, and I'm like, you don't really look familiar. And so we just started talking, and she says, I know you. I know you. I don't know where I know you from. And so I said, well, do you ever listen to radio? And she said, yeah. I said, well, what station do you listen to? She goes, oh, well, I listen to mostly talk radio. And I said, well, I'm the host of Tampa Home Talk. She said, that's how I know you. So she had been listening to the show, but she didn't know me. She just felt like she did.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
It was cool.
That's very cool.
It was cool. And so anyway, yeah. And then small circles, right? When you grow up in an area like Tampa, like I did, a lot of people move from somewhere else, but these root circles, people that grew up here like me, have different tentacles that meet people. And then so when you go on social media, you see, oh, they know this person. Mm-hmm. There's always like those common people that you know.
Absolutely.
So it'd be interesting to talk maybe when we come back after the break, if you do any, like while we're on this topic, if you do any type of like webinars or seminars or anything like that for small businesses on how to get started, how to acquire customers, and where to actually spend money. Do you do any of that?
I do.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that and a couple of other questions that we got when we come back right after the break. And if you want to connect with Dwayne directly, or you got some questions, maybe you want him to analyze your business, you can call us at our off-air number, 813-377-2775. Just text either Dwayne or business and we'll get you guys connected. Call or text 813-377-2775, 813-377-2775. We'll be back right after this break, so stick around.
Well, good morning. Welcome back. This is Leo Kane with Barrel Engineering and Inspection, joined with Katrina Madewell. And we have Dwayne Vera from SideKyk with a Y.
Yep.
And no C.
Yeah,
No
the
C.
I and the C, it was taken by the T-Mobile phone, so I had to get creative.
Oh, that's right. That
Yeah.
SideKyk T-Mobile phone.
Yeah,
That thing's not even around anymore, is it?
But it's weird. It still goes
It's still
to
trademarked and linked with them.
I don't know.
Got it. It's a cool spelling anyway. I like it.
Yeah.
All right. So we were talking a little bit about how you help some small businesses. And I'm curious to know, like when you go in and you connect with a business owner, where do you start? Like what kind of stuff do you dive in? What kind of questions do you ask? How long are you with them? Like how long does it take you to actually analyze their business? And what kind of things do you need to know to even analyze their business?
Yeah, so usually the first thing we talk about is merchant services. It's usually the product that can save them the most money. A lot of business owners just took the first thing they could, or they went and bought a square at Best Buy or something like that. And so usually you can save a couple $100, even a couple thousand if the business is big enough, per month with merchant services.
That's a lot.
It can be.
A couple $1,000s a month right off the bat. That's huge.
Yeah, it can be. And so, from there, obviously we look over the merchant statement. We have some people that will analyze it. That's their job, is to analyze merchant service statements and see where savings can be realized. And then, from there, we'll ask them about their business, just kind of have a very coffee chat conversation like this. Hey, tell me about your business. How do you get customers? How do you get them to come back? That sort of thing. And then as they're talking, we're analyzing, okay, they didn't say this, or they said this, but we know that actually this works better and could save them money. And so the wheels are turning, and then we'll go into a game plan, see what they're interested in, and then just deep dive into that segment.
Well, a lot of companies do what they are calling the bolt-on technology, right? Mm-hmm. So they have their main function running and they need something else. Mm-hmm. And so a bolt-on CRM is probably not a good plan. You want to spend some time there for sure on that, because that's one of the biggest pieces of your business.
Yep.
And so do you have like a questionnaire you usually ask of small businesses?
I don't. Personally, I just talk. I just try to go in there and talk, because again, it's about leveraging a relationship. Really, it doesn't matter. All my expertise or none of that matters. What matters is how the business owner is running their business. They know their customers better than I do. No matter what my resume may say. And so I just want to talk to them about them running their business and just offer a way to help them. I don't want to throw them into the fire and say, well, you need this, right, this, and this, because they didn't. That I walked through their doors. That means they're an open business. They're doing okay. You don't want to make them feel like their decisions were poor.
Other than a conversation, where do you start?
Yeah. So the first thing is just, again, gathering information and putting it in my own CRM. And then, trying to figure out where some of the biggest cost savings can happen, because that's really what it's about. It's about helping them save costs or getting more value for their money. It's not always a cost saving play. Sometimes you may have to spend a little more, but the value you'll receive is gigantic.
Or it can help you grow into some of your future needs that you're not yet anticipating. That can happen a lot.
Or it can interconnect. Maybe you're using a software that's, you said earlier, in its own silo with data, while there may be one out there, similar cost, similar functions, but it actually integrates with other things you're using. And so why not let them talk?
That can eliminate some other things.
That's right. Yeah.
Definitely. So one of the questions I know you get a lot is what is a cash discount payment processing, and how does that work? So this is, again, merchants, services, people that take credit cards, right?
Yeah. It is because it's coming to the Tampa Bay area. You'll start to see it pop up more and more. And so cash discount, a lot of consumers, they'll know it as a credit surcharge. They're very similar. And really what it is, it's where merchants are passing off the cost of payment processing to their customers, anywhere between 3.5% and 4% at a time.
Because that's roughly what it costs them.
Yeah, and that's the point, is, a lot of consumers, they get upset about the idea, and they feel like the business owner is doing a disservice, but maybe what they're not seeing is that's what the business owner pays for you to swipe your credit card.
That's right.
And so a small business, that can, again, you can save hundreds or thousands, which means they're spending hundreds or thousands of dollars a month to take your plastic. And so essentially they're not profiting off of it. They're just passing on the cost at whatever cost is.
Plus it's less of a risk for them, right, in terms of chargebacks.
Yeah, it is less of a risk. And then there's the way it's built is that the payment processing or merchant service company, they built a cushion in there, and that cushion's designed to pay for those things. As well as debit card transactions, which can't have a surcharge on them. It's illegal to do.
How do they make their money then when they take a debit?
The merchant service company?
Because they obviously get paid to somebody pays for that card to be taken.
Yeah, so there's a few layers to it, and to not get way in the weeds with the ideas, basically, let's say there's 4 layers of who all gets paid in a credit card processing transaction. The ones who don't get paid, obviously, are the customers and the merchant who you're buying, but those layers in between, they all make fractions of pennies off of all of this, and so
times billions
billions of transactions. That's right. But yeah, so with debit cards, there's a small, again, fractions of a penny that's tacked onto it, and that gets spread amongst whoever's involved.
Why is that so much less than a credit card percentage? Than running it as a credit card? And sometimes it's your debit card, right? That could be run either way.
Yeah, that's right. So if a business is running a debit card as a credit card, they're doing themselves a disservice because they're paying more in merchant service fees. Excuse me.
Sure. And so it's better to actually run it as a debit, you're saying, as opposed to a credit, right?
Yeah, that's accurate. And really the whole idea, to just break it all down, is if it's more risky, they're going to charge you more. If it's less risky, they're going to charge you less. And with a debit card, the money's already in the bank, so there's no is this person going to pay back, or the risk involved. As well as with the debit card, you're not paying for points. So when I use my credit card, I may get 3% cash back. Well, the merchant's paying that. And so that's where the fees go high, is the merchants are paying that cash back. Well, with a debit card, I don't get any cash back, so they don't have to pay that. That's not tacked on. Right.
So let's talk a little bit about a couple different spectrums of business. The person that is like almost all word of mouth, right? They're referred, or someone else tells them about them. So if it's word of mouth referrals, do you think this is sufficient as we move into 2020? And is there anything you're doing to help them grow? And then I guess we'll go to the other end of the spectrum, which may be a similar answer. Your solopreneurs, right? Or just the people trying to get started that are looking to increase business or acquire customers. What's your thought for both of those things?
Yeah, so with the solopreneur, really, we've talked a lot about it already, as customer relationship, or CRMs. That has to be kind of their basis, because again, you're starting off by yourself. Most solopreneurs are real estate agents, mortgage loan officers, insurance agents, right? It's all about the relationship. And it's, please.
Are you having to teach them habits, like different habits, once you put that CRM in place?
Yeah, it's a different mindset. Really, the biggest habit is just putting information in, because it's just like most software. If you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out, right? And so just the habit of using your phone or scanning a business card or whatever you need to do.
I tell you what, I recently got that Rocket book. Have you seen that thing, Leo?
Yeah, I got one for my wife for Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
Still in the packaging.
No, like
Perfect.
I even got the little pen that goes right, like the little holder for the pen that goes right on.
I
Still in the
just
packaging.
had this conversation with somebody else because they don't know how to use it and they have it.
She asked for it.
And it's still in the package.
Literally asked for it. It's still in the packaging.
So I didn't ask for it, but I ended up buying it myself. One of the girls almost bought it, and then one of my friends was using it. And let me tell you what, I use that thing. Even like I love it. Even like when I'm handwriting notes on a paper, which I love the pen because it writes on paper or the book.
Or the book.
And so essentially, I can take this paper, set it right on top of the book, and so going back to information to getting it in. Talk about like the speed of information being transferred.
Yeah, it should be quick, because it's very easy to not put it in. And sales reps, myself included, we'll go out, we'll gather a bunch of business cards, we'll write on the back of them, and then we'll say, okay, I'm going to do the admin work when I get home. And then you're not, and so you have to try to remember those things.
I love to outsource that kind of stuff. Like,
it's
like how can I
perfect.
scan this and get it to somebody right away to do it?
And most CRMs.
And you'll make money doing that as a
absolutely.
entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's right. A little side gig for anybody listening. If you need to make a quick dollar, that's a perfect way of doing it.
Yeah, like think about how many stay-at-home moms there are. How easy that would be to do that while the kids at school are napping.
Yeah.
Right, and then they can just be like this side person.
That's right.
To help a business person that doesn't want to spend hours when they get home putting all this data in.
Yeah, it's very true. Or if the business owner, and sorry, moms, to cut you at the knees, it's a great job. If you know someone, please do that. But a lot of CRMs are now having a mobile app where they'll allow you to take a picture of the business card and it'll upload the information for you. So you literally have zero excuse between doors if you're a door-to-door salesperson.
Does it digitize the information too, or just holds it as a photo?
No, it digitizes it. So HubSpot, for instance, they're a free CRM. They work in a lot of cases, especially for a solopreneur, and it's a paid feature. But if you pay for the feature, $25, $30 a month, you can do that. You can take photos of business cards and it'll digitize it, and then it gives you the option to edit it. Like, is this the office number? Is this a mobile number? And then you say yes, 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 and now you have the contact. It's already in.
We got to talk about this because my shoebox bill for last month I was looking at was $300 and some odd, and I was like,
yeah,
that was a little much. And I go, well, it's I would pay somebody $300.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So how do you help people get new customers? Like, is that the CRM or the SEO portion of it rather? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it depends. I mean, it should be. SEO should always be a part of it, but whether you should spend money on it or not just depends on your clientele and the industry that you're in. Some phrases that you may target on Google or Bing are more expensive than others, right? Being a realtor is very expensive to do SEO, while being a sidekick costs nothing because nobody's trying to do it. But the idea is just where's the point of contact with your customers is really where you should spend your money. So if it's trade shows, then you should spend your money trying to get into good trade shows as opposed to spending your money on maybe advertisement. Or if your point of contact, if you're a restaurant and people are walking in, then you probably should spend your money in the local area as opposed to SEO, because local SEO is a lot easier than maybe some national SEO.
And then do you spend any time teaching them how to retain those customers and bring them back?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. So again, once we build a relationship and it's really a true hero-sidekick relationship, then as we keep going down their business, retention is a big part of what we talk about, because stats show us that it's 6 times more profitable to keep a customer than it is to go out and acquire new ones. So really, if you have customers, that is where you should spend your money, because they've already spent money with you. You've already built a relationship with them. So if your return on investment, again, is 6 times if you're going after them.
Yeah, it's very expensive to acquire a new customer.
That's right. But it's very inexpensive to keep a good one. And then most of us will say the holy grail of marketing is word of mouth. So you keep them happy, they'll keep feeding you.
Can we talk about some ideas when we come back after the break
Absolutely.
on the best way to retain those customers?
Absolutely.
That you've had in the past for a multitude of businesses.
Yep.
Sound great? All right, our off-air number is 813-377-2775, 813-377-2775. And Leo has been really quiet this hour.
I'm just taking it all in and learning.
You only asked him about a CRM. You got nothing.
I'm learning. So we have a guest that I don't know a lot about what they do. I like to just sit and learn and listen to the process.
So when you're quiet, you don't know much about it, and when you're excited, you.
When I'm excited, I jump in or start telling jokes.
Stick
we'll
around.
Be right back.
We'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, we're back. Good morning. This is Leo Kane with Barrel Engineering and Inspection. We're back with Dwayne and Katrina. Last segment, Katrina said I was a little
excited.
too... Yeah, we were talking about chickens off the air.
We were getting excited about the chickens.
Yeah.
I didn't know that 4th of July made some of your chickens' hearts stop.
Well, I mean,
That's
you
crazy.
think about it. If you're buying fireworks in a store, they still make you sign that stupid piece of paper that says you're buying them to scare birds.
What?
Yeah, if you buy from you've done it before, you bought from like the big box fireworks, yeah, you're basically signing paper saying that you're not setting these off for vacation or a holiday, you're setting them off to scare off birds.
The stuff you made me forget what I was asking him. We were going to talk about the last break. We started talking about chickens.
I wasn't paying attention.
What were we talking about? Oh, how to acquire new customers.
Yeah. How to keep the ones that you already
How to
have.
keep the ones you have.
Right.
Yes,
I was
because
like,
it's 11 times cheaper to keep than replace.
but I asked you something I wanted to talk about, then we started talking about chickens.
It's all right. Chickens is a good conversation.
I can talk about chickens for an hour.
We're here with Dwayne Vera of SideKyk, and he helps a lot of small businesses and big businesses actually save money on some of the products and services that you're already using. He can help you figure out how to pull together all this bolt-on technology and use something that will work very well and streamline your business. So, what's some of the best ways to retain your customers? You have a multitude of businesses, so the answer may be different.
Yeah. Really, the first way is having some form of loyalty program, right? It can be a punch card. Honestly, I know that sounds very elementary, but it brings people back. But really giving them an incentive to come back, and so there's a lot of technology out there that will allow you to do that in a cleaner format. Usually, it's through your payment processor. But really having some form of loyalty program to just reward them. In most sales, whether it's a commission structure or a prize, you're really trying to reward behavior. And so that's the idea of a loyalty program, is I want to reward this behavior because I want to reinforce you doing this behavior. Please.
Oh, go ahead. The second one is?
The second one would be collecting data on them. So if you're a sit-down place like a restaurant, a doctor's office, Wi-Fi marketing, which I haven't spoken a lot about, but Wi-Fi marketing is really becoming a big thing. There's a lot of really, really cool companies, even here in Florida, even some in St. Petersburg, that do Wi-Fi marketing, and allows you to collect data on your customers, and then you can reach out to them proactively through things like email or text message.
How does that work?
Yep, good question. So essentially you offer free Wi-Fi. Restaurants, the perfect use case. Stadiums are a really good use case as well, but it's unlikely many people here own a stadium. So we'll go with a restaurant. People are sitting down, they're using your internet. They want to use Wi-Fi because there's 100 people in the restaurant. Cell phone service may be slow. So when they log on with their Facebook or their LinkedIn or Twitter or what have you, and you, as the business owner, collect information. You'll collect their name. You may collect their age, depending on what they allow. You may collect their birthday, and then every time they come in and log into your Wi-Fi, it'll let you know. Now, if you have their email or their phone number, you can send them a text message. You can send them an email like, hey, it's 3 days before your birthday. Come in, get 10% off on your birthday.
So are they getting this information automatically, or are they requiring you to put it in to collect the data?
Good question. So they're getting it from whatever information you put into your social media. So,
Okay.
if your Facebook's uploaded with this, again, it may not be extensive because of what privacy laws are doing now, but they'll gather some information, maybe your picture and your name, and that way they're able to see how often you come in. As a business owner, you can then segment, frequent visitors, someone who hasn't been here in 60 days. So let's say you own a nail salon, your typical clientele comes in every 30 to 45 days, or you're a hair salon, they come in every 30 days to get their hair done. You can have a reminder set that in 25 days from the last time they were in to send them an email to remind them to come in for their hair appointment.
Does it do just emails, or is there text?
It does text as well, depending on the platform you use, depending on how much you want to spend. It can do email, it can do text, it can do tweets, it can do other forms of social media. Again, there's a range of products that are out there.
That's why it's important to have a fake email address that you use to log into all these Wi-Fis. Is what I do when I'm traveling overseas.
Yeah, no, it's very true. Actually, if you're worried about your privacy, you should have
A different email.
almost like a separate identity online that you can just kind of allow to be your what you use for emails or Wi-Fi marketing or what have you, and then have your own. It's very true.
The data is a very big thing. You're going to hear more and more about that as we roll forward in years to come. I mean, there's a big thing about Facebook, right?
Yeah.
In the news about all the data that was collected and how it was shared and all that sort of stuff. So what about when you look at a business like myself and like Leo, where your customers might not need you all the time? Perhaps they might need you once, right? Or maybe they buy one home ever. That's the way they used to do it.
Yeah, right.
We see people moving a lot more frequently now.
That's right.
Based on their needs. But what's your recommendations to retain customers if they're not, it's not a restaurant?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course. For realtors, or in a business where they need you one-off, really you still want to stay top of mind because you don't know when they're going to need you again, right? Unlike a restaurant or a barber shop where they need a haircut every 2 weeks, for you it could be 5 years. All of a sudden they could get pregnant. They need a bigger home or
Right.
a job transfer, something like that, and so. Because of that, you just want to stay top of mind. So by giving away information that's beneficial, so not everything's a branding play. Not everything's, hey, remember me for your home needs. But, hey, did you know that the school was rated this? Or, hey, did you hear that they're building this in your neighborhood? You made a good decision on purchasing a home. Or whatever that is, you're now staying in their life. And so when they need you again, they'll come and find you, or when their child graduates college and needs a house, they'll come and find you, or whatever that looks like. So in your case, you still want to be consistent with your marketing or your communication because, again, you just don't know when they're going to need you.
We've started doing a lot of different video emails for things along the way, and then we also
Very smart.
do a lot of client events.
Very smart.
So we do just cool stuff, and that's our way of really reconnecting with them outside of a real estate transaction.
Right.
Because it's a lot more fun to get to know people personally versus, being the most stressful thing that they do, moving, right?
Right, absolutely.
And we're pretty transparent about that when we meet people. We're like, look, we know this is a painful process for you guys. Moving and buying or selling a home it's right up there with death, divorce, and taxes, and
that's right.
all those super fun things in life. So it's our goal really just to make it as stress-free as possible.
Yeah, it's such an emotional time. And so, they're really putting their emotions in your hand as a realtor and saying, here, handle this for me. And so if you're delicate enough with it, then you can grow your business really, but you have to identify what it is.
There's a couple of things that sometimes people don't think about, but what I tell people all the time is when they're looking to buy or sell a home, people don't just wake up and go, oh, I think I'm going to buy a home today, or oh, I think it's time to sell. Like there's something that happened that's kind of planted that seed, and it's a thought or a conversation that goes on over a longer period of time. And then when you look at something like a home, it's most people's biggest asset, it's their biggest liability,
Right.
and it's their biggest monthly payment. So you really should trust somebody extensively for that process.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, even if it's not me, find somebody you trust,
That's right.
but we have a great relationship with our people. So our off-air number is 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775. Dwayne, that's an hour already.
Perfect.
We had a lot of fun with you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm sure some of our business owners listening would love to talk to you a little more. And you can just text us or call us at 813-377-2775. We'll get you connected with Dwayne. And remember, love where you live, or we're going to fix it. Welcome home. Thanks for being our guest, Dwayne.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. Bye.